Yeah, I didn't love the books this week. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a 1001 book countdown for you. If you're not familiar with the 1001 book countdown, I will leave a card up here for you somewhere where you can go and check out the original video. But basically it's book reviews off of the 1001 books you must read before you die list. I am attempting to read all of the books on all of the editions of that book, which actually means I'm reading 1315 or 16 books depending on what list you look at. And I'm just slowly making my way through this massive project. I've been working on it for a number of years, but started my channel a few years ago where I started documenting the process. And I have to say, I love that part of reading from this list because now I have a video library of every book. So me with my horrible memory, I can go back and watch them. If you're interested in watching all of the videos, there is a playlist out there where you can go and do that, and they're all in order for you. I would say some of those early videos are probably pretty rough, but I should go watch an early one and see what my reaction is to it. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you consider giving me a subscribe and sticking around and seeing how long it takes me to make it through this massive project of mine. Like I said, I'm still having a really good time with it. So hopefully you're enjoying these videos. But for today, what we will go ahead and do is put up the numbers, like I do every week, which are, I've forgotten, 815, my main number out of the 1315 books, and 38. Every year at the beginning of the year, I pre-select 52 books that I want to try and focus on in the year with the idea of getting that number down to 0. It helps me to have a smaller number to focus on in the idea that maybe I'm making some progress. When you have such a big number, it's hard to see it shift in any substantial way. So that number 39, oh my goodness, represents what I have left of those 52 books. I'm making progress. Yeah, am I on track? I'm so close I could touch it to being on track. I'm right here, right super close. So yeah, hopefully I have an opportunity to catch up just a little bit or get a little bit ahead. I'd prefer to be a little bit ahead. So all right, my first book, though, for today, I don't know what I'm doing today. My first book today is actually the 1001 Book Club pick, which I am co-hosting this book club with Britta Bowler. And the book that we selected is actually Hideous, Kinky by Esther Freud. Esther Freud actually happens to be the great-granddaughter of Sigmund Freud. I found that out when I was researching what I wanted to say about this particular book. This book was originally published in 1992, but it's set in the 1960s. It's somewhat autobiographical. When Esther Freud's mother took her and her older sister to live in Morocco, it felt like on a spur of the moment kind of a thing. And it is largely narrated by the youngest daughter. There are a lot of things in this book that didn't necessarily work for me, or I don't know if they aged very well for me. I wanted to love this book, but I didn't really connect with the youngest daughter. I had a hard time kind of being in her shoes, and it felt very rambly without a real point to me. Now, I know that not everyone feels that way about this book because one of my subscribers had put a comment in the Discord that said this is a 5-star read for her, and I respect that. I do. I think that's amazing. I'm so happy that the books that we have in this book club are resonating with at least one person. This one, unfortunately for me, just didn't quite get there. I wanted it to. I did. But no, it just didn't happen. There's also been an adaptation, as you can see on the cover of this particular book. It has Kate Winslet. I have not watched the adaptation, and I don't think I'm going to. I think it was just kind of an okay book, and I wasn't super excited about it. Very sad. But with this book, we do get to go from 815 down to 814, and it was on my 2024 list, so I go from 39 to 38. I have another book for you. The next book I have is this one, Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino. This book was originally published in 1972 in Italian and then in 1974 in English. Italo Calvino has several books on the 1001 book countdown, and this is my third one that I've read. I've read Castle of Crossed Destinies, If on a Winter's Night, A Traveler, and now this one. And oh boy, I don't feel like I'm smart enough to understand this particular book. I had to do a little bit of research kind of after the fact to find out a little bit more of what this is. And the book is largely separated into, I believe, 9 or 15 different sections. I can't remember now. And each one of them has a particular theme, and each of the cities in that particular theme apply to one of the individual themes in there. So it could be memory, it could be eyes, it could be a lot of different things. There's a whole graph out on Wikipedia that shows this relationship between all the stories, and how in chapter 1 it might be 4, and then in chapter 2 it goes back to the first one, and then maybe a couple new ones, and then it keeps going, and it is a lot. This book seems to be one that I feel like you could almost have a literature course designated to unwrapping or unraveling what's happening in this particular book. And the complexity of that, for me, I lost it. I wanted a story that I could read. I liked Castle of Cross Destinies because it had a hook in it as well, but it was a hook with pictures, and then you could kind of follow the story pretty well. If On a Winter's Night, a Traveler had also a unique premise to it, where it had a short story, and then it had kind of a moderator in the center, and then a short story, a moderator. And then this one had this unusual format of having very short sections with some hidden meaning kind of in each one. And for me, it's a format that I did not love. It was a fast read, though, for the most part, because of the formatting. There's a lot of white pages. There's a lot of empty space in this particular book, but it also feels a lot like it's a book that you should read kind of slowly. You should go through and really try and understand what's going on. And when I read it, I didn't have that knowledge of it having these different sections with the different meanings in it. I think if I read it again, it might read a little bit differently for me. I would say that Calvino is not becoming a favorite author of mine. The premises and the formats of the stories that I've read so far have been okay, but haven't been ones that have made me really want to dig into more of his work. I do think there's at least 2 more books on the 1001 Countdown that I will be reading by Calvino. I don't hate his writing in any way, shape, or form, but I'm not falling in love with it. I wanted to, I did, but it's just not quite happening. Yeah, a little bit disappointed. I do love this very simple cover, though, of this one. I'm not sure why I like this black with the colored writing on it. I just think that's really pretty. So anyway, with this book, we get to go from 814 to 813, and it was, is that right? Yes. And it was on my 2024 list, so that number gets to go from 38 down to 37. I did do a little bit of math to see how many books I was supposed to have read by the end of April, and it said I should have 36 left. Right now I have 37. I don't know if that math is right. I think I'm off a couple in there. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what I mean when I'm super close to being on track. I'm very, very near to where I wanted to be. I wish I had a couple book cushion in there. I do have this book, Kurt Vonnegut's God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, which is the next one that is up on my list. I am going to try and finish this in April. It is only April 26th at the point that I am filming this, so I'm hopeful that I can get this done by the end of the month. It has actually really big font in it and lots of wide spacing, so I think I can do it. I think I can. The other book that I had selected was The Adventures and Misadventures of Mackerel, and that book is 600 plus pages. I'm not going to finish that in April. I already know I'm not. You can see it actually over here on the shelf. It's right here. I'm not going to make it to finish that. I know I won't. So we'll see how it goes. But I think this one is doable. God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. And I'm excited to dig back into Kurt Vonnegut after rereading Slaughterhouse-Five. I think it was in February that I read that. So yeah, we'll see. But this one is up next. Have you read any of these books? Are you a fan of Calvino? I would love to hear that as well. What am I missing? Is it something that I'm just not quite consuming? Do you have any tips for reading Calvino that might help me get more out of the reading experience? I would love to hear that. If you have suggestions, please leave those in the comments down below. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.